Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all to the StarDock StreamCast fourth episode. Hey, man, it's your boy Star Charger, and yeah, we got a few things that are worth talking about this time. I know we've had a little bit of a hiatus between Streamcasts, three, and now up to episode number four. But we've now gotten to a point where, of course, we got more to talk about. Now, of course, I'm now settled with the new place I've got, as you can see, and as you've been seeing in all the previous broadcasts throughout the course of the last month. And it's about time we go ahead and dive into all the kinds of craziness that's, of course, been happening over the course of the last month. All right, so to be frank with you, it's just been a whirlwind of things. From everything from what's been going on, of course, here in the StarDock community, all throughout the FGC as a whole, and throughout gaming as a whole, as we all know. And then, of course, that extends into real life. Of course, this week we celebrated inauguration week of the new president, Joe Biden, and Vice President Kamala Harris. So big stuff over here in the United States as we try to see how well the new administration moves forward here in the country. Definitely wish them the best of luck, and definitely hope that they go ahead and get the wheels turning in the right direction, no matter what. But by all rights, as I welcome all of you guys that are coming in here in the early going, yeah, things have been going in one hell of a direction over here ever since our last episode of the StarDock Streamcast. Notably, of course, we had our second tournament, StarDock Showcase Master Series 2, which saw the birth of a lot of different monsters coming to the forefront. Um, with regards to just all kinds of new blood that have now begun to turn into mainstays with the StarDock community. And I could not be happier with that because of the kinds of things that those guys have been doing. So it definitely warms my heart to see a lot of that go down. And, of course, congratulations to Work, Unbearable Skill, for clinching that second title as well. The third one, of course, is on the way, and I was going to save a lot of the developments for later on in the show. But that said, it's definitely worth noting that there will be a third MKX StarDock Showcase Master Series tournament, and it will be happening soon. And I hope some of you guys that are inside of the chat that have been competing in the exhibition showcases, as well as all the other King of the Hill streams and everything else that's been going on, I hope to see you guys be a part of it, as I know you guys constantly show your stuff. So, worth noting going into the meat and potatoes, I mean, we've got a lot of different circuits happening right now because, of course, COVID's kept everybody in lockdown, and that essentially means that if anybody really wants to compete in anything, especially if it's relating to MK11, then online really is the only way to go, unless, of course, there's another We Play Dragon Temple on the horizon, which is, to my knowledge at this point, we're not seeing anything like that on the horizon anytime soon. But that said, all the different kinds of circuits like Destroyers, Champions of the Realm has been going down, where you've got qualifiers like the Mighty Unjust, Tweety, Pulse, and Biohazard. From what I understand, those guys are going to be clinching their ways into the finals week that Destroyers got planned. So congratulations to all of them. And to anybody else that's looking to go ahead and continue to compete there, go ahead and go on Smash GG and definitely sign up for Champions of the Realm for Destroyer. So as we all know, he's the homie. He always holds it down, and definitely if that's your cup of tea, go try your hand because as you know, he always puts on a great show. And then, of course, he always supports us over here with the Streamcast and with the StarDock community and everything that we do with the showcases. So definitely give the homie Destroyer a look on that side. And then, of course, we also got Champions, or not Champions of the Realm, but we also have the tournament series that Echo has been running. All right, and he's been running one hell of a tight ship over there in the sense that they're already past week 3, and right now he's actually got a top 10 in points of Hijinks, Woozy, MCG Striker, Tsunami, Shadow XPR, Broseph, Dab, Yadriel El Punk, Zentai, and Creaky Axe. I spy a couple of StarDock supporters inside of that top 10, so definitely wish them and anybody else that looks to compete inside of that circuit for Echo all the best as well as they continue to try and make their way to his final. So congratulations to all of them, and hopefully they can all make their cases known. And then last but not least, of course, there is the NRS Pro competition right now, which from what I understand has a cutoff of a top 16 before, of course, they do their final combat. Well, just as far as I'm seeing everything right here with this points format. And the top 16 right now in that circuit as of this moment are Combat, Honeybee, Mighty Unjust, Hayate, Samij, Dragon, Sonic Fox, Biohazard, K7 Show Off, Perfect Legend, Emperor Aztec, Kerbalicious, Black Lives Matter, Dirty Grandma, Abyss, and Slayer. And if I'm interpreting the rules right, that means that guys like Katana Prime, Neutral is Key, Coach Steve, Creaky Axe, Kevo the Man, Get Wrecked, Tweety, among others, are missing out on that cutoff. So anybody that's looking to continuously compete in that side of things, definitely good luck. Wish you the best of luck. And I gotta say, man, that circuit, its perception's taking yet another black eye. And I say another black eye because, to be honest with you, a lot of the pro competition right now, it wasn't really too much about. There wasn't too much about it to get hype about, in spite of the fact that you get another season of it, which is what a lot of folks were really wanting. But by the same stretch of the imagination, you see a lot more of the same kinds of shortcomings in running online circuits through ESL and that we saw in the past with a lot of past different games, whether it be MKX, Injustice 2, whatever the case may be. ESL gonna be ESL, and that ain't changed. You got these guys playing in these tournaments, waiting hours on end for their matches. These tournaments aren't completing for a good anywhere from 9 to 17 hours. And these guys are just unfortunately having to grind basically, just for pennies when you look at the great outlook of things, because you see the way the prize pot is. I mean, I say this and it sounds like I'd be ungrateful, even though I don't play the game competitively right now. And the developers, and we're still getting something to, at least play on somewhat of a competitive level. But, consider this. I mean, consider the fact that the prize pool is essentially got you to the point to where you're competing almost monthly for, maybe a shot at a G. And you're having to go through hundreds of competitors in order to get to that point. I mean, is it really worth it in terms of the money? I mean, you never want to compete for the money, especially in fighters, but by the same stretch of the imagination, you're thinking about going through that strife of playing online, going through ESL's platform, and then, of course, going through the potential strife of knowing you might get lagged out, all for the sake of trying to get through the glory of getting to the pro competition for such minimal payoff compared to what some other games are getting, across the world. I mean, obviously, you see the Fortnite finals that were announced just recently on PC. They're giving out a $20 million prize pool. 20 million, folks. I mean, now that's worth competing weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. That's worth competing for. I mean, obviously, in spite of the fact that Fortnite's only been around a fraction of the amount of time that MK has been around, I mean, consider them stats right there, that they're willing and able and actually have the capacity to give out that kind of a prize pool, when I think all told, NRS prize pools throughout the course of their entire history in esports, dating all the way back to MLG Columbus in 2012, probably doesn't even tally up to maybe 12 million. In fact, I'm probably highballing it. To be honest with you, I'm probably highballing the hell out of that too. I mean, when you look at it, I mean, you're definitely not playing fighters for the money. especially MK11 right now. And then I go back to what I was saying about a black eye. I mean, that's not. I mean, yeah, that's more of a personal strife, and a lot of folks echo that, especially within the competitive realm. That it's not really a good look. That's exactly what's being dealt with at the present moment. But then you think about just exactly how things are being run with that tournament series, and the extent that obviously they've allowed custom variations to be the norm, as we all know. That, of course, means you can change up the name of your variation. All right, which basically means that you have the ability to actually call your variation whatever in the world you want. Now, they have rule sets on what you can and can't say, as long as it's not vulgar or whatever the case may be, then it can rock. All right, cue my homie that I go back a long ways, Titanium Tigers. I remember playing him during the old ESL Community Cups in MKX. That's how we met for the first time. And he's been doing his thing ever since, and he's really come up to the point to where he's definitely a formidable presence in the MK11 competitive world. And then he goes in with Shiva. Now, at this point right now, the big topic of discussion balance-wise within MK11's doors is Shiva, with all the kinds of craziness that she has at her disposal. And people are starting to finally get woke on just how nutty that character really has been since she dropped. And especially in this current meta of the game. But you take all that and put it into perspective of what you got competitively, where you've got a character that you can now customize however you want with a stomp that's trackable. You can use the tracking on this thing. You can delay this thing. You can amplify it for a crushing blow that, honest to God, is one of the easiest crushing blows, easiest troll-worthy crushing blows you can get in this game. And obviously, there ain't no defending against it. So, of course, people in Bryson to stink about that, along with a lot of other things that are still prevalent in the game that have not been fixed, and that the devs have essentially, written on the wall that they're not going to fix. But he writes in a variation name with Shiva. Why did NRS do this? Like, seriously, he just wrote, why did NRS do this? And if I'm not getting it exactly right, then it was something pretty much along those lines. There was nothing vulgar about it. He played a match on stream. They called it out. And from what I understand, not long afterward, NRS essentially told the guy, you are not only disqualified from this tournament, but you are banned for the rest of the pro competition. Just for that variation name. Why did NRS do this? I'm like, huh? That's what you're gonna snipe the poor guy for? Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't aware we weren't in America where you could actually say something like that and it's not considered offensive or vulgar to anything at all. If anything, it's just simply the guy just having a sense of humor going about why NRS would actually go along with such questionable balance direction, to say the least, with the character. I mean, he didn't put expletives in what he put in his variation name. He didn't expletively call out NRS. He just simply said, why did NRS do this? I mean, that's just light criticism at the very most on what he's giving his variation name. I mean, it makes no damn sense, man. I mean, I understand folks being sensitive, but holy hell. Sorry about that, but man, it's just amazing that, yeah, especially when you consider things within NRS where, you say a lot of things their way, whether it's social media or whatever the case may be. I don't really care if they come in, if they see the streamcast. First of all, they see this streamcast. Cool. I mean, who knew? Who knew that they were willing to put eyes on this direction? But nevertheless, I mean, sure as hell they don't put any eyes on my character's direction, as they've so made a point of letting me know, but that's another story. Anyways, if that's really what ruffles their feathers, what would really be a cool thing to do is if every single player within the competitive community just banded together and simply just made all of their custom variation names. Why did NRS do this? Just to drive a point home. I mean, seriously, of all things for you to ban a player from your series from, now they reduced the ban from obviously the entire pro competition or what was left of it to just that one tournament. But even still, to actually disqualify a dude based on that criteria with his variation name, come on, man. Come on, man. It even reached publications over the course of the week. Now, granted, one of those publications was Kotaku, which they only come in if, of course, there's blood in the water on how to paint a game, a community, or a developer, whatever, in a bad light. Now, I've been gaslighting the hell out of saying that NRS should definitely be made to answer for a lot of the questionable decisions that they've made in the game, and that they've definitely been very questionable at best when it comes to the balance, the design, just their overall direction with MK11. I've basically gone on record saying that MK11 is the greatest wasted opportunity in FGC history. Because it dawned on me a few days ago that we came across the 2-year anniversary of the giant reveal event that I was invited to, and a lot of people were invited to out in Los Angeles when this game was dropping and giving the worldwide premiere reveal on how it was going to be. Ever since then, they had all the momentum in the world on their side that day, and ever since then, they've squandered every single ounce of it. For very fixable reasons. All right, so I've made my point known ad nauseum about all that. But obviously, you got Kotaku, who just basically, if they're doing an article about you or anything about you or any game you make, they're essentially just trying to burn you to the ground. That's it, that's all. It's not constructive. It's just, that's not the kind of press you want to attract. How Kotaku is still even around, I have no idea. But by the same stretch of the imagination, when that kind of attention is what you're drawing because of that reason, you got to reevaluate things internally if you're the cause of the problem, i.e. NRS in this case. So, simply put, they've got a lot of soul searching to do. The entire FGC knows that now. And to be frank with you, it would not surprise me if Why Did NRS Do This somehow winds up becoming the new 895. If you get that joke, guess what? We're old. There ain't no turning back the clock. We are old now. Woo! Oh boy. Hold on just a second. Hey, we back in real time. All right, so that was worth bringing out. And then in addition to that, you had this week, just earlier today, you had a shot of one of the mocap artists for NRS. Up, Super Roboto, how you doing? How's everybody doing tonight? I hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope you all are enjoying so far. But you have the mocap team for NRS now back in action, and they posted a video, or not a video, but they posted some pictures on Twitter, and one of the guys in the mocap room just so happened to be unruly. So how about that? But you look at that, and you gotta wonder, oh, what's coming down the pipeline if they've got the mocap guys in there doing their thing. I mean, they've made it clear that they said that this game is going to be the game that breaks the 2-year cycle that we've now essentially got the Stockholm Syndrome on. So you gotta wonder what exactly do they have coming down the pipeline that actually entices the team, the band to get back together, so to speak. Only time will tell, but nevertheless, there's also more in the NRS community, or rather the MK community, where that's not the full extent of the news on what's happened since episode 3. You've got the plot for the movie. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's talk about that for a moment. Let's talk about that for a quick moment, man. They've recently, of course, revealed the new shots for some of the actors, some of the shots in the movie where you've seen Jax, you've seen Sub-Zero, you've seen Shang Tsung, Liu Kang, Kung Lao back to back. I mean, you've seen some guys in there that it's just like, okay, well, all right, we're seeing some screenshots that are really good to see. All right, but then in addition to that, I mean, we enjoyed seeing that, but essentially, then they had to go and ruin the ride. And they ruined the ride, and I'm actually bringing it out here right now. I'm actually gonna read off exactly what this plot for this movie is all about, or at least what we were given by the people that are making it. All right. So, all right. First of all, apparently the character that's gonna lead this thing is Cole Young. Who the fuck is Cole Young? Who? Like what? All the characters in the MK universe that could lead this movie with some legitimacy, like truly, fathomably, and understandably lead this movie, and you gotta create something like this? I mean, let me get through the whole thing first. Let me get through the whole thing, and then we can eviscerate this. Hold up. All right, so Cole Young is gonna be the main character. Apparently, Shang Tsung is the Emperor, and Sub-Zero is a part of Shang Tsung's clique that he sends into the MK tournament. There's more. The MK logo is now a mark of sanctuary, and you got Raiden, who's apparently an elder god in the movie. Which, okay, to a certain extent, I can believe it. To a certain extent, I can go with that. Training Liu Kang, Kung Lao, which sounds obvious, and Kano. Kano is training under the same roof as Liu Kang and Kung Lao in defense of Earthrealm as a rogue mercenary. What? Huh? Huh? And then apparently the force of energy that goes throughout the movie is being called Arcana. They're working the Arcana angle in this movie. I mean, we gave the guys, the creative directors at NRS, a lot of shit about the story. The way that they really molded the better part of the story, not just for MKX, but also now for MK11. Hell, the end of MK9 even had some areas where, honestly, it could have been better. It could have been better. But by the same stretch, MK9 story among the recent trilogy of MKX games is without question the GOAT. And you look at MK11 story, in a lot of ways, especially with the Aftermath deal, the Aftermath side of it is just dog piss. Let's just be honest, it's dog piss. Straight up dog piss. I mean, we thought the MKX story was lacking in a lot of ways with the way that they allowed Cassie to somehow come out of nowhere and start bashing up on characters like Shinnok, and then obviously I don't have to get into Devora and all the crazy shit that she's somehow been able to accomplish in just the couple of games she's been in existence in the MK universe. But then you get to this story, just the synopsis alone, I'm just sitting here just thinking to myself, dude, any of these people even play the game or see how the story is molded? Like, what? You create a character like this out of thin air. He's going to be leading this thing. And on top of that, they still haven't revealed certain other characters in this movie's plot that would make a lot of sense for certain other characters' existence in the plot. Prime example, case in point, they have not explicitly said anything about Katana being in this movie, yet somehow Melina was cast and has a role. Bruh. Now, granted, I'll get to the point that I want to make here in a moment, but there is no Melina without Katana. It will never be the other way around in any continuity ever, 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 ever. It'll never happen. Whoever put this script needs to find the nearest wood chipper, can of gasoline, and the biggest stockpile of matches imaginable. And I'll let you go on with your imagination on how that scenario plays itself out in capable hands. This I don't even want to see the damn movie, to be honest with you. And to be absolutely frank, I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe I'm saying this. Given the synopsis that we've seen, and I don't care if I'm made to look like a fool in case this movie comes out looking like a banger. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't care. If the movie comes out looking like a banger somehow, like, honest to God, put them on every single production from here on until the end of time or until they pass on, because they will have accomplished the impossible. Because the outlook of this script, the outlook of this particular plot line for Mortal Kombat's movie that we've waited God knows how many years for, I don't think I'd want Katana to be a part of this. Fuck, I don't think I'd want any one of the main major characters of Mortal Kombat to be a part of this. Create a new realm, create your own new characters, create whatever the frick you want. Do not lump Mortal Kombat characters in with this. This is one of those kinds of things that simply makes you say, not like this. Not like this. I mean, oh my God. Oh my God. Were the guys at MK Legacy that wrote MK Legacy, were they too busy, or were they not available to actually get you going with this? At least they kept it close. At least they had respect for the source material. They had respect for the actual backdrop of Mortal Kombat and where these characters come. They had proper respect. And their take on the universe of Mortal Kombat, I dig it 100%. I mean, granted, it wasn't perfect, mind you. Their take wasn't perfect. And there were a lot of elements about it that were definitely questionable, and that, when you look at things nowadays, deserve to be questioned. But, they at least had respect for where the material came from. They didn't create fandangled shit like this. This is wrong. This script, I'm gonna see the movie, man. I'm gonna see it because obviously, as a fan of Mortal Kombat, above all else, that's the only thing that's dragging me to see this. I mean, the excitement that I've had for this movie and the way that it plummeted kind of parallels the same feeling I had towards Mortal Kombat 11. You wait for this for years, and all the momentum in the world is on their side, and they find the most avoidable way to F everything up. Oh my god. Jeez, I gotta take a powder after this. My god, man. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is nuts. This is nuts. But in any event, you've got all that fandangle nonsense going on in the world of NRS. All right, and now away from NRS, digressing from the NRS side of the gaming world, um, you've got Apex Legends, and they just revealed this week they revealed Fuse, who's going to be a new legend in the game, and I really cannot wait for them to drop. And apparently, there was a whole rumor, of course, that Kings Canyon, as confirmed by the developers, was going to get obliterated, which everybody thought meant that Kings Canyon was going to get completely and utterly destroyed from existence, from being able to be playable. A lot of people were moaning, groaning, pissing, and moaning about it. And from what it looks like, based off of the trailers that have been revealed, especially the the character trailer that was revealed today, looks like Kings Canyon won't be. It was changed. It was obviously blown up bigly, but it was changed in a lot of ways that interestingly enough are just gonna give it yet another overhaul. So it looks like that map is here to stay, as I think it should. Of course, it's Kings Canyon. It's the one that started it all. Even if it went permanently and we didn't play on it again, I wouldn't have really thrown up any red flags for it. They would have likely had some specials on it, and then we'd have probably had like another rotating map arena. But in any event, he's coming, and he looks interesting as hell. Aussie, 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 oi, oi, oi. Shout outs to the homie Storm Rider and all my Aussies out there. But yeah, that's what it looks like it's coming down the pipeline for Apex Legends. And you talk about another game that's got its stuff together on an esports level well enough to where they're giving out prize pots that are actually worth giving out. Where their arenas are going at a rate of $500,000 at minimum. I mean, seriously, dude, we are lagging behind. As far as the FGC, not this isn't even just an NRS problem. This is an FGC problem. We are lagging behind so badly, and I've said it before, and I will say it again. If the FGC really wants to help this problem, the FGC needs to adapt the mindset that teams is the way to go. Teams is the way to go. I mean, yes, keep singles tournaments. Obviously and always keep singles tournaments. That's the staple. That is the staple of fighting game competitive legacy. That will never change. But if the FGC as a whole wants to see any kind of an evolution that gets us on a level where we can at least somewhat rival some of the other genres and what they're able and capable of doing on an esports level like that, even in the midst of a pandemic, that's what we got to do. I mean, that is what we got to do. So ultimately, there's a lot of ways we got to reevaluate things as a community. And whether it comes also at the cost of the the console developers actually giving us the sponsorship and giving us the funds and money necessary and the support necessary to make that happen, it lies on them because yes, they do help out when it comes to some of the events that have been run on PlayStation. They've had their PlayStation events. I don't know what Xbox has been doing on their side. Mainly because of the fact that, to be frank, I think PlayStation's really had the lion's share of the support behind MK and a lot of other fighting games from a monetary standpoint. I mean, they're the only ones that have been helping to foot that kind of a bill. But by the same stretch of the imagination, their contribution towards that effort and towards those efforts across these games, I mean, as big as Sony is and as much pull as they have, they can't do it alone. When you consider the fact that we're going up against giants and all these other genres that have, of course, been playing on PC, playing the team game on PC, and have the kinds of sponsorship that comes from the PC affiliated brands, PlayStation, Microsoft, they need help. And because PlayStation's really been the de facto spearhead behind the console effort on trying to go ahead and get that kind of monetary sponsorship behind fighting game and console efforts as a whole, competitively speaking, we're working at a monstrous handicap compared to some of the other genres. Offsetting that by way of team play and allowing team play to attract more of those sponsors that are willing and able to come in by way of the console realm if we're not going to make that change from console to PC, which I'm not advocating, but by the same stretch of the imagination, if we want to reach the level that some of these other genres are getting to, all options got to be on the table, then that's what needs to be considered. It needs to be. I mean, if folks want to start talking about making a living doing this, making a living out of not just obviously content creation or whatever the case may be in competitive, but also running teams, making it sustainable to actually run teams that actually sponsor players to go out to events, especially once COVID succeeds at some given point to allow offline events to start coming back with some shred of normalcy. When we get back to that point, if we get that back to that point, then having that backing necessary is going to be how everything gets sustained. And how the level of what's being presented from a competitive standpoint for our games starts to get put on a level that can somewhat equal our peers in the other genres. I mean, that's really all I'm saying there. And it would make a lot of sense if that were to be what comes to fruition. But elsewhere, that rant aside, of course, I know with the events that I run, the community runs that I run here on the StarDock, that they're nowhere near obviously that kind of level. But by the same stretch of the imagination, what I run are passion events, obviously, with the Koths, the StarDock Showcase exhibitions that, of course, we'll go into that here in a second. Then obviously the Showcase Master Series tournaments for MKX. I mean, we're not reaching obviously the level of coin that you'd see obviously in Apex and some of the other genres that I've already mentioned. But by the same stretch of the imagination, all the donations, all the contributions that go into those efforts that make them possible, thanks to you guys. And I could not thank you enough for allowing me to consistently put on those events to allow you and allow all of us to continue play, cast, and spectate and enjoy what we love. All right. And speaking of which, here on MKX with the StarDock Showcase that's coming up on Saturday. It's worth noting the people that have signed up for this week's episode up to this point are Oinky Doinky Baby, Khalad, I'm sorry if I'm botching the name, Cypher, Lis Vasto Lorde, AG Gunna, and El Mandril Mexicano, along with, of course, Slavon. All right, so we got a few guys that have signed up and ready to roll, and I can't wait to start putting the matches together for all of these guys. And if anybody else wants to join up on the MKX Showcase, please let me know because I can't wait to put that show on Saturday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. You know what it is. But of course, on the flip side, this week was a make or break week for MK11 to be considered a showcase event game on its usual time on Friday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And sorry about that. And unfortunately, due to the fact that that game, in spite of my efforts on broadcasting it on Twitter, Discord, YouTube, just wherever I could broadcast it on all of the mediums here on the start with the StarDock community, I will not be hosting any more MK11 showcases until further notice. I mean, I've made it very clear that if no support came down for MK11 in its showcase time well ahead of time in terms of people signing up way ahead of time so I can make the cards and put all of that together, then it would not last. And so here we are. We've gotten to that point, and MK11 has not had a single person sign up for that event. So as a result, I am pulling the plug on it, and it will not have a showcase date until I say otherwise, or until any support, truly comes down for it. On the other hand, of course, as I mentioned before, MKX's showcase exhibitions will be happening, of course, at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I cannot wait for all of that to go down in its full extent. So, if you want in on that, please let me know either on Twitch, Twitter, or whatever the case may be. And yeah, of course, those are linked here inside of the Twitch page as well, inside of my bio, so that you can have easy access. And I'd love to see some more of you guys get involved with that. Trust me, those shows are definitely worth watching. You definitely want to be a part of those, man. Very good stuff. And I definitely look forward to seeing some of the new faces make their debuts on the showcase, as always. So, every single one of you guys that have tuned in tonight, I hope you guys really enjoyed tonight's show. It's been really, really fun broadcasting this. All things considered, man, you know, the community and its drama, always fun stuff, never really a dull moment. And I'm glad that we got episode 4 up and running after a little bit of a hiatus, given I had to go and get everything ready for the move. So, thank you to every single one of you guys that came in and watched this. Of course, will get uploaded on YouTube, and I cannot wait for all the reactions to this streamcast to come on down. So love every single one of you guys. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Tonight was going to be a short stream because, of course, tomorrow I actually have to get up early for work and continue to do all the things that I'm doing there, because all the things that I'm doing there are allowing me to continue to do everything on the StarDock platform that I'm able to do. So thank you to every single one of you that tuned in tonight. This will be uploaded on YouTube ASAP. Thanks for watching. I will catch you guys on the next one. Love you all.